Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And it's now time to take on the second Chinu Limited Time Chamber of Memories stage, the Chamber of Aspects, stage 11. This wants us to use a Primal Demon team in an AoE setting. So Primal Demon has received quite a few units over our time. But most of them are magic and synergy focused, which does pose a bit of a problem. And this is a blue focus team, which there are a lot of blue Primal Demon units, so thank God for that. So we're starting with a 3 orange and 3 blue. This is meant for you to use the free-to-play Misery to convert these. They don't really do anything super duper special. They do have a lot of synergy resistance, and by a lot, I mean like by nuke turn they have 100%. So synergy, definitely not what you're looking to use here. They do have some kind of annoying gimmicks. Both other colors, greens and oranges, are nerfed, so you can't really come in here with that. Any healing skills are nerfed. If you manage to kill one of them but not the other, like this Rimuru will make himself invincible, which is annoying. Gazel, there's also a few turns where he converts your entire hand to greens, meant for you to force the Diablo convert. And then he also binds you a little bit as well. So there are some annoying gimmicks in here. And their HP levels are much higher than the other stage. Now they have 4 million, pretty much across the board. Gazel is slightly less, but still very close. So blue-focused, Primal Demon, AoE, space. Let's build a team. Okay, so Primal Demon or Stern of Spirit. Fern is on Stern of Spirit, and we're going to use her because she's a really good character. So we're going to put her alongside a bunch of other Primal Demons, which would be her worst nightmare. But we're going to have Violet with the stacking attack and the multi-use gimmick, which doesn't really apply to this team because we're not bringing Blanc at all, because this is an AoE fight. We've got the Misery. We've got a bunch of Primal Demon units, so we can convert both the Orbs and the Alt swap. And then Visions of Coleus, Jean for the Alt, EX ult, and the space resistance down debuff because Diablo is space. Fern for the EX ult damage and ult resistance down. Massive, massive buff and debuff right there on one skill. We're not going to use her other skill because it's magic power for herself and synergy, which we're not a synergy-focused team. We don't want to do that in this fight. And then we've got the Primal Demon Jean for the weakness resistance and the element down, which isn't very strong, but I needed another one. And then we've got Diablo himself to be our AoE space nuking character. We're going to go a bit faster because it's an 8-turn fight and I want to stay here too long. But turn 1, we can't convert Fern's Orb, so we're just going to do this. And then we will convert with Misery. 3 blues that are primal, or 3 oranges that are specifically Primal Demons can now become blues. And then we'll send a full hand of blue. And that's pretty much all you're going to do with this stage, is because it's a stacking blue team, and these have not changed in years. You stack, you convert, you get a lot of orbs. This is actually a perfect turn 2, because we only need to use 1 orb change, because we only have enough points for 1 orb change. And they're all greens, which means that we can do it with Diablo. So full convert here, boom. And because Misery is also AoE, we'll use her as a backup nuker in the very unlikely event that Diablo can't get the job done himself. We're going to have her as a small backup. She's not going to do nearly the amount of damage, but she can at least do something. And then we got almost a perfect hand again. We only need 1 convert. And that's my biggest problem with Primal Demon, is that because Misery only converts 1 color, and Diablo only converts 1 color, if you get 1 orange and 1 green, you're fucked. You gotta use 2 skills, and they get very expensive after a while, because this is not a skill reset kind of team. But turn 3, you're about to get binded, so you want to make sure that Diablo and Misery are both up front. That way you can convert all the colors, right? So Elmesia hits, and then Rimuru hits, Gazel hits us, and then there's the bind, so we can't swap out. You could maybe dodge it, like if you had Fern up here with her anti-bind gear, like you could get around that, certainly, but I didn't really want to deal with that. So here, full hand of blues, we had the both convert, we had the alt swap available because Misery's here, so that made it very easy. And then turn 5, you're unbinded, but he's going to swap your entire hand to green, which forces you, which actually is better, because I wouldn't have been able to convert that hand. 4 oranges and 1 green. It would have been real bad. We would have been missing one orange. But thankfully, he did it for me. So this is great. So now I just have to use the alt swap and then one Diablo convert. So you can bank on that. It's always going to happen turn 5. And that makes it very easy to predict. And as long as you can get a decent amount of orbs for Diablo, then he's, at least on this team build, he's your only necessary nuking character. Now, if you don't have Fern, obviously your damage is going to go real down, like really far down. And then you'll probably need the AoE ult from Misery just as backup. But you could very easily bring in Warrior's Mind Guy or Warrior's Mind Violet, both having buffs. Violet probably better because you're already getting an alt buff from Space Jean, and Violet is another physical AoE blue orb changer and alt resistance down debuffer nuking character. So you could have 2 type advantage Primal Demon nukers. So very much, if you don't have Fern to support, bring Violet or bring Guy, and they would both work fairly well. But here, this hand isn't great. Now we gotta swap 2 alts, but it's really only 1 alt because we don't need to have Jean up here for anything. So she can just go away and it'll pull in another green, and we're already gonna convert anyways. So let's go ahead and alt swap, boom. We got lucky there. I should have swapped Jean out first, but oh well. I think we're just gonna run with it and we'll just convert. Or are we just gonna send the 5? I can't remember what I do. This was recorded like 3 days ago. This is what I get for not voicing over everything immediately after, is I totally forget what happens. But even then, I kind of forget what happens anyways. Okay, we're going to full convert, make a full hand of blue. It is almost turn 8. It's turn 7 right now, and the traditional nuke turn is turn 8. So, do we have enough points? The answer is yes, because we have Earth Jean, who can give us 300 skill points after turn 8. It doesn't go over our cap, so we wouldn't magically have like 648 points. But we can definitely use a lot of skills leading up to that. And we only have an alt for Misery. Not a big deal. So let's just take her out. You know, she's not necessary now. We'll use the big time buff debuff from Fern. Boom. And then we'll bring in Space Jean. And then we need to make sure we use the correct amount of skills. So let's do the 300 extra skill points right here. So 393 now. And then we have enough to do everything. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the EX ult from Jean. We don't need it because we're already getting EX ult from Fern, but I do want the space resistance down, just to make sure that we're doing maximum power right here. And then another stack from Violet, because why not? And so now we've used everything that we need to, and then Diablo is going to do... okay, we'll watch it, sure. Spoiler alert, he kills. He does enough. I just don't see this ult very often, because we don't really nuke with Diablo nowadays. What do we do? 4.8. And they had just over 4 million, so we did an extra 800,000 damage, give or take. So definitely, like, Fern really helped out with us hitting that damage cap. But if you don't have her, having Diablo and Warrior's Mind Violet also would be pretty good. You'd have slightly weaker ults, but you'd have 2 of them. So, and they both be fairly strong. So there is the first team. Fern, the most substitutable option here, and then probably comes Earth Jean. Like, did we need her extra skill points? Yeah. Does her buff on her other skill actually provide much? Yes, but not really. So there's the first team. Let's move on to the second team. Alright, I can't say I'm particularly proud of this team, but I did try and experiment with other leaders, other nuking characters that wasn't just Primal Demon with like 1 substitution, and none of them could work. Warrior's Mind with Violet and Lumi, well, Lumi was not here, but Violet didn't work. Trying to nuke AoE with Exalted Champion Guy, AoE magic with Synergy didn't work. So we're going to have to resort to some cheesing, which means that we're going to use the free-to-play Reckoning Carrion. We could use Masayuki if you wanted to, but we're not. We're going to use Carrion, specifically because he's free-to-play. And then we've got Violet and Soe and free-to-play Misery, who's not useful here, and then Violet and Guy. And the entire point of this team is to use as many stacks of Carrion as possible, because we've got the AoE heal charm on him, which, if you heal, while the Reckoning healing field is in effect, you get 2 stacks of Reckoning. And eventually, by turn 5, they don't have that much HP. Like, we've seen what Carrion can do to EX2, where they have 54 million HP. And they have to have that much HP, because Reckoning does too much damage. But in a stage like this, where they have 4 million, it's kind of a joke. So, we don't need to do much. I just put a team full of blue orb changers on the team. It doesn't have to be these specific characters. And I put free-to-play Misery hoping I could heal, but I totally forgot that healing skills get sealed. So she's not really going to do anything for us, actually. If you want to bring just another blue orb changer, that works fine. I don't care about ults. I don't care about other skills. All I care about is blue orb changing and getting as many uses of Carrion as physically possible. Because every time you heal, you get every time you use him, you technically get 6 stacks of Reckoning, because it goes on everybody. This also does require you to have a healing charm, though. Could be a bit of a problem. If you have a single target heal, it'll work, but not nearly as efficiently, because you're only getting 2 instead of 6 stacks. But here, alright, look at this not great hand. Well, I don't really care. Carrion does reset down 1 level, and gives you some skill points. He's not even maxed out yet, because when I recorded this, we didn't have Predator Battle, so we haven't been able to use him to his fullest capacity, right? But there's 6 stacks of Reckoning right there, and then we have double Carrion next turn, which is 12 stacks of Reckoning if you use them twice, which you're definitely going to want to. And by the time you hit turn 5, when Reckoning actually starts to hit, it's going to do quite a bit of damage. So, because I couldn't think of another team that could reliably nuke this stage traditionally, we're going to go with the cheese scenario. And you could also use Vengeance Velzard. You can't use Raphael because his Vengeance skill is sealed, because it's a body and spirit skill. But you could still use like the Vengeance counterattacks from Protector Velzard and kind of make it work. They just don't have very high attack stats, which is why they're buffing their wind attack and stuff like that. That's another way they get around Vengeance. But besides just outright killing you, which they don't do a lot of damage, they can't really nerf Reckoning in this stage. So that's good. And so, again, you're just looking for entire hands of blue orbs to maximize your gauge on Carrion. And I don't have an alt swapper here because I don't really care. I'm just going to send it. As long as I can send 6 orbs of something and I can maximize my blue gauge, that's all I really care about. So, what are we at? 6 stacks on Soe, 6 stacks on Violet, 6 stacks on Guy. So, alright, look at that full hand of greens. Well, I'm not going to be able to convert it. Like, oh, I could actually, because I got Violet in the back. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. See, now we can. We got kind of lucky there. You could have just sent the orb and the ult and called it a day, and then we wouldn't have had an ult to deal with next turn. But we can do this instead. Let's use Carrion. Let's heal back up a bit. Let's put some more stacks on. So now we've got 8 stacks on Guy and Violet and 2 stacks on Warrior's Mind Violet. More blue orbs means another use of Carrion next turn. This is turn 5, so after this is over, Reckoning is going to start hitting them, and it will hit them very hard because they don't have a lot of HP compared to what Reckoning requires you to have for their own beatdown battle. So ult resistance doesn't matter, synergy resistance doesn't matter, magic resistance doesn't matter. All that matters is Reckoning. And it does 875k on turn 5, with the only way to get stacks is from using the Protector and the AoE heal charm. 878k. I mean, that's almost a quarter of their HP. Not quite, but almost. And it's just going to go higher, because we're just going to continue to use Carrion over and over and over again. So let's get this another full hand of blue, which is going to give us another double stack of Carrion next turn. And now at this point, as long as they don't just somehow magically kill you in the next 4 turns, you've won. Because you do way too much damage with Reckoning at this point. And even if they're taking 875k a hit every turn, like, that's a lot more damage than what they're going to do to you. And it's not even turn 8. So there's almost like a million right there. Okay, they're at half HP now. Look at this beautiful hand of only Violet Orbs that we got. It's great. And then we'll double stack with Carrion again. We'll heal everyone back up to mostly full HP, if not full. And that means that our Reckoning stacks will do even more damage. And now we've got another 12 stacks, which means they're pretty much going to die this turn or next turn. I can't remember. It's one of these turns. But if they don't die here, they're going to be very, very low. And then, oh, yep, hit me. Yep, do it again. Yep, I love it so much. Please. 1.6 million. And we won. Like, you could send 1 orb here and you'd win. But let's just, for funsies, let's use Carrion. and then we'll send some the alt here again for funsy onesies. But if you don't have a good Primal Demon team that can traditionally nuke, just do the free-to-play Carrion strat and cheese the fuck out of it. It's just rewards. There's no honor in this, but who gives a fuck about honor right here? It's a mobile game, and without PvP, so. And after Gazel ults us, which he hasn't really done that much damage anyway, yeah. And we do 1.6 million. And they're dead. Turn 8. Look at that. There we go. There's the two teams that I've used to clear the Chamber of Aspects stage 11. If you have any other teams, like if you found a way to traditionally nuke that's not just like the Primal Demon team plus one other person that I didn't use in the first clip, let me know in the comments below. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.